Here it is. He knows everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Oh, Higgs. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Oh, Higgs. Let's talk about it, man. CJ86. Once you let me know what's up, we're going to go ahead and have that conversation. Because boxing community fan bases, they need to hear from you, though. They need to hear about the corruption that's happening in the sport. They need to hear about the fundamental fact, the cardinal rule, the cardinal affiliation, and the fact that cartels get down when it comes to boxing, when it comes to the dirty aspect of the sport, when it comes to the fact that cheating is something that is always going to be finding the cinnamon toast crunch. You guys have to understand why CJ86 said what he said. He was speaking from a elemental state. He was speaking from a fundamental state. He was speaking from a rudimentary state. And that was breaking down the corruption that happens in Viva Mexico. Let me say it again. The corruption that happens in Viva Mexico. They know what goes down over there. Look at El Chapo, a known cartel drug dealer that has been basically walking around, parading around on the Pablo Escobars of the world. Because Pablo Escobar put him on. And then once he put El Chapo on, El Chapo was able to figure things out on his end and chop it up and get to the next level. The bottom line is El Chapo, from the Mexican boxing community fan bases, they know who the fuck he is. Viva Mexico know who he is. They kidnapped Cinnamon Toast Crunch's brother to remind him, to basically say, we are the boot and you are the heel, and your heel will always be in and up under our boot, and we decide your fate. See, boxing community fan base don't want to admit this. This is why Cinnamon Toast Crunch is winning fights. He's not winning fights because he's legendary. He's winning fights because he's ordinary. But the backing that he has behind him. November 6th revealed the three-pronged monster of economics, politics, and pugilism. November 6th revealed that boxing, not only does it have a corruption that has a stench in the fucking air, the corruption of boxing stems too high to the sky. Basically, it leaves a stench in the atmospheric environment. And that's what happened on November 6th. We watched a Caleb Plant use a side positioning, a Mayweather defense, basically exposed the fact that this guy right here is very ordinary in the boxing ring. The fact that this guy right here can get done the fuck up. The fact that this guy right here can get beat up. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is not a legendary fighter. It's the worst thing they've ever told you. He's a cinnamon dust of a fucking horchata. Now, these Rudy Poo and Plum Plum brains, classic dope and troglodytes, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetorics, they want to fix their rabbit ass mouths. And now they want to tell you that Cinnamon Toast Crunch can beat Andre SOG Ward. Well, if that's the case, why did he have the performance that he had against Caleb Plant? Why did he get beat up for damn near 10 rounds? So all of a sudden, a knockout happens out of nowhere? Out of the fact that Cinnamon Toast Crunch was using the same combinations over and over and over again. So hold up. For 10 rounds, those combinations weren't landing. But all of a sudden, it's the things that make you say, they land. All of a sudden, it's the things that make you say, a rabbit punch comes in. All of a sudden, it's the things that make you say, the illegal Mike Tyson as you're going down after you get hit reveals itself. Come on, man. We can't be that foolish. We can't be that beguiled. We can't be that much of brain full of mush and brainwashed doodle heads. Because if we allow ourselves to be this way, we allow ourselves to sit here and masquerade and continue to go up under this clause of boxing, which allows any bullshit and fuck shit to happen, then we have to ask ourselves, unadulterated, we have to ask ourselves, cutthroat, and we have to ask ourselves, basically what we would say, cold-hearted facts. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is not the fighter that you guys think that he is. He never was. And he never will motherfucking be. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we saw a display of boxing that we haven't seen in a very long time. You didn't see the exchange they had in the 9th round? Everything He Knows Everything has told you is coming to be true. Why would Caleb Plant have that exchange with him? Why would the both of them go back and forth? When do fighters do shit like this? Especially after shit talking happened the way that it happened. Caleb Plant saying, oh, not bad for a guy that's 21-0. This is a guy that willingly had no choice but to take the pay to fucking lose. And the reason why I say willingly is because they threatened his ass before the fight even started. He had no choice. You got a mouths to feed. Ace Hood said closed mouths don't get fed, dog. And if closed mouths don't get fed, then at the end of the day, a pay to lose had to be on the card. We as boxing fans, we have a fundamental rule to tell the truth. We have a cardinal rule when we see bullshit and fuck shit a mile away to call it out for what it is. To not sit there and let it be a lifeline to where we're just accepting whatever comes our way. When we know damn well that the bullshit and the fuck shit that happened on November 6th was clearly two mobster levels working together. Las Vegas is not far away from Mexico. You don't think the Viva Mexicos was in the motherfucking building? The Mexican mobsters? The Las Vegas mobsters? Come on, man. Boxing is a three-pronged monster of economics, politics, and pugilism. You guys saw that at the highest levels. And when you need boxing community fan bases to talk about this shit, they remain mute. They weren't mute with Deontay Wilder. They were very vocal, even after this third fight, when Tyson Fury gave him a technical punching placement in the 11th round. It was basically a legitimate knockout. Now that was a knockout. Not the bullshit that I saw on November 6th. Tyson Fury legitimately embarrassed the shit out of Deontay Wilder in the second half of that fight. Tyson Fury, it was kind of like when George Foreman was fighting Joe Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Well, guess what? Down goes Bump Squad. Down goes Bump Squad. Deontay Wilder got done the fuck up, man. We have to be honest with ourselves here. And we can't lie on what we see. And if these brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads could come up with some kind of excuse to sit here and say, well, there was a long count. Y'all saw the long count. Well, there was this, there was that. They were all over the situation because they were gargling the freaking Deontay Wilder's ball sacks. These were dick slurpers, dick fucking riders. Over here were truth tellers. And if Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the most corrupt boxer in boxing, what is the argument here? What are we talking about here? Are we not going to point this out? Are we going to act like we didn't see that this guy's head movement is over fucking rated? Are we going to not act like we didn't see that Caleb Plant was beating this man to the punch for 10 fucking rounds? Are we going to act like we didn't see that Caleb Plant ring generalship was dominating this guy into ordinary status as he's always fucking been at his truest and his most properest levels? Are we going to sit here and act like Cinnamon Toast Crunch was throwing the same shit over and over again, and there were times when it hit the actual ring itself and didn't hit Caleb Plant? Caleb Plant displayed IQ and skill set we haven't seen since Floyd Mayweather. But the difference between him and Floyd, he doesn't have the Floyd Mayweather popularity. He doesn't have the Floyd Mayweather cachet. He doesn't have the Floyd Mayweather dichotomy. So the pay to lose had to fucking happen. The nosedive had to fucking happen. Let's be honest with ourselves here, man. All of a sudden, his head comes out. All of a sudden, he gets a rabbit fucking punch. All of a sudden, he gets the illegal Mike Tyson hit. It's the things that make you say, It's the things that make you say, We cannot unsee what we've seen. And what is understood don't need to be fucking explained. You know, I had to have a pause moment. And the reason why I had to pause for a second is because I had to sit here and tell myself, boxing fans are that much of peon fucking brains. They're lacking that much neuron receptors that they could not see what they needed to see. Which was, from a Cardinal standpoint, once again, they had to coordinate this guy. And now all of a sudden, he's on Andre S.O.G. Ward's level. Andre S.O.G. Ward was tied in legal battles, in legal woes that stripped a lot of his prime. If Caleb Plant was able to do what he was able to do to this ordinary motherfucker, now we understand why he ducked S.O.G. when S.O.G. was fighting. We understand now why Cinnamon Toast Crunch didn't want no parts of him. Because it's very clear, it's very evident, and it's very factual that when it's all said and done, Cinnamon Toast Crunch has always been what he's always been, an ordinary as fuck fighter. That's the cold-hearted, that's the unadulterated, that's the cutthroat true telefashion. I keeps the foot on the whoop, Higgs. I keeps the foot on the whoop, Higgs. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.